I cannot believe I'm walking everywhere every day just because of an app. Hi, this is Elson, and this video is brought to you by Lag Studio. So since last time I made the Stepn video, I received a bunch of questions through comments and messages. In this video, I'll go in depth on the optimal strategy, gems and sockets, and go over some of the questions I received. I used to drive everywhere, even if the place I was going was just a few minutes away. I would definitely drive if I was getting food. But ever since Stepn, I've been just walking to nearby neighborhood places for food. The concept of being able to cover your meal and even earn money is just unheard of. Two of our team members are already highly invested in Stepn, buying common and uncommon shoes, running around 35 minutes a day, earning around $100. The app itself has also grown tremendously with around 66K monthly active users and 21K daily active users. So if you haven't started it yet, you should start now. Alright, so let's dive right in. The first question is what type of shoes should I get? When you're thinking about that problem, you should probably take a look at a few things. One is rarity, the mint count, the type, attributes, the gems and sockets. So let's start with the rarity. In terms of the rarity, the most affordable shoes would definitely be common. For a common shoe without outside capital, you probably get a return on investment in around 60 to 75 days. Of course, if you have a bit more money out there, you can buy rarer shoes to up your earnings. The price of the shoes seems to be somewhat more aligned with US dollars than Solana price, since when Solana goes down, the amount of Solana per shoe seems to go up slightly, but in general, the community is still in hypergrowth pace, so the shoes have been rising the past few months. When I made the last video about a month ago, the shoe's around 5.8 Solana, with Solana being at the price of $92.17. One shoe probably equals to $534. As of today, the cheapest shoe out there seems to be around 8.55 Solana, with each Solana being around $84.48. That means each sneaker is roughly around $722. So that's roughly a 35% rise in 1 month. If you look at the charts here, you can definitely see that the number of sneakers is going up. The uncommon 4 definitely is going really high. The rare are somewhat more fluctuating, but the shoe boxes are definitely rising crazy. GST prices have been somewhat stably rising despite all of the things happening around in the world. But the gems, however, the floor prices have been going down a little bit, but the amount has been going up as more and more people run and unlock gem boxes. Alright, let's look at mint count. The lower the mint count, the more expensive, but if your goal is just to run, go for a higher mint count, no problem, so that is cheaper. Currently, the lowest price sneakers sit at around 2 to 3 mint counts, but if you want to make money off of minting, go with lower mint counts or shoe boxes at floor price. If you want to mint a shoe without deploying more capital, then the 2 shoes you buy throughout the process, you should probably be able to mint a shoe with 0 mint counts at approximately a month based on the earnings of GST you acquire from running. In this chart, you can see as the mint count goes higher between the 2 shoes, it starts at 00 at 200 GST per mint, maxes out at 700 GST per 6 mints. Alright, something to definitely look at is the type of sneakers you're buying. So this really depends on your physical state. If you can run for at least 10 minutes, go for a runner. If you aren't that fit, both jogger and walker should be pretty easy for anyone to move for 10 minutes and still earn the optimal income. Me personally, I have a walker, but I feel like there are times when I just walk too fast. But as you can see in these 2 charts, first of all, let's look at the one on the right. The walker, your optimal speed is 1 to 6 kilometers per hour, jogger 4 to 10, runner 8 to 20, and trainer 1 to 20. Trainers are really rare right now, so basically just look at the top 3. On the chart on the left though, you can see that as long as you're running in the optimal speed, you should basically have somewhat the same amount of earnings. So just pick a type of sneakers that really fits your physical state. In terms of attributes, for common shoes, try to get sneakers where the sum of total attributes is larger than 20 and efficiency plus resilience is larger than 10. The importance of the 4 attributes is in the following order: efficiency, resilience, luck, and comfort. As of now, because they've released limited amount of game modes and features, but as the game progresses though, I do think that different sneakers might have different uses. For instance, if you wanted to farm GMT, you probably go for like comfort and luck, but that's for the future. As of now, just focus on finding sneakers that have good amount of efficiency and resilience and a good amount of total attributes. One thing worth mentioning is that in terms of gems and sockets, try to look for sneakers with sockets of efficiency, resilience, and luck in that order. Another thing to look at is to have sockets that fit your strong traits that your sneakers do have. Alright, so the next question is how many pairs of shoes should I get? To answer that question, we really zone in on energy. The amount of shoes you have affects the amount of energy you have, and that affects the amount of time you can run each day, and then that eventually affects how much GST you can earn. This also depends on your physical state, right? Right now, the community has a few combinations for you to pick from. One shoe, common or uncommon, that will give you 10 to 15 minutes of walk or running per day. That would cost you around 9 or 46 Solana. The 3 shoe scenario, the ideal would be 1 uncommon and 2 commons. Run with the uncommon. That would give you 25 minutes a day, and that would cost you around 64 Solana. Then the next tier would be the 9 shoe combination with 1 uncommon and 8 commons. Run with the uncommons, and then that would give you 35 minutes a day, probably cost you around 118 Solana. So the amount of energy depends on how many shoes you have. You can see on the graph on the left, and the reason why you sprinkle uncommon shoes in it is because they add an additional energy on top of whatever rank you are currently on. Your energy will replenish every 6 hours at 0 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 18. Whether you have 2 energies or 30 energies, it replenishes incrementally, so basically just run every 24 hours. Next question, how much GST can I earn per day? If we have to answer this question, we have to look at what affects how much I earn. This is the equation on the left. Let's take a look at the equation first. Your earning of your GST is basically the amount of energy you spend times your attribute factored by a system value. The system value based on our models and community data is around 0.5. And then you're going to times a random number between these two parameters. I'm going to guess though, after you average out, this random number will probably average to 1, so I don't think this will affect your earnings that much. Times x, x is if you're running in the optimal speed or not. If not, you're going to be times a factor that's less than 1. But if you're in the optimal speed, most likely it's going to be 1. In terms of y is just that if you're running above 51 durability. If you're not running above their 51 durability, then it's going to be times a 0.9 factor all the way down to 0.1 when you're at 20% durability. So based on our own model, we found out that having your durability constantly at 100 whenever you run, just repair it, is the better strategy. I'll go into the depth of why that is later, but always keep your durability at above 51 so that it does not affect your earnings. To sum it up, randomness, the attributes, definitely, especially the efficiency attribute. Gems into the sockets because that further affects your attributes, your shoe quality because you don't want it to go below 51 durability, your optimal speed. So if you have a shoe that's a walker but you're running really fast, you won't be in the optimal speed, so definitely keep an eye out on that. The amount of energy you have affects how much time you can earn. And if you go over that time, you will not be earning. The GST cap is basically based on the highest level sneakers in your inventory. If you just have one, don't worry about it. You won't hit your GST cap throughout your leveling up experience. But if you have like a large amount of sneakers, then you will be capped at an amount that you probably will hit. The GPS signal is the last thing that you have to worry about. Usually it's fine, but if you're in places where the signal is bad or there's a lot of skyscrapers, especially in downtown areas in different cities, it may cause it to moonwalk or drift, and that would affect your GPS signal, then further affecting how they calculate your speed and all that. However, one thing to note is that the distance you run does not affect the GST earnings as long as you run into optimal speed. However, your movements does have to cover some distance, as I believe the speed is determined by the GPS and how fast you cover that distance. So you cannot run in a treadmill at your home. Alright, next question. This is a question that I received the most. How should I allocate my points per level? I think the most valuable trade out there is efficiency because it affects the most frequent event in the game. Efficiency directly affects the amount of GST you earn per run. So the next most frequent event is a repair event, which is affected by resilience. This is a graph to show the most optimal solution based on community data, but long story short, try to at least allocate 2 points of resilience every 3 levels, and then allocate all of the rest into efficiency. As the game kind of progresses though, you do want to keep an eye out for luck, because that gives you the ability to earn mystery boxes. As you kind of progress to level 5, 10, 15, and 20, your sockets open up, and then definitely you would want some type of gem to put into your socket. Based on current data, it's really hard to get any gems if your energy is below 4. You can see it's all gray over here. So since there's only one socket every 5 levels, currently I don't think you have to invest any in luck as of now. If you can acquire 3 sneakers, get 4 energy, just keep on running. You'll have a low percentage of getting a gem, but more than likely throughout 30 levels you'll get some gem that you can use. But if you do want to mine gems in the future though, it is worth putting some points into luck so that the probability is higher. As you do know, gems are also NFTs that also you can sell on the market to then gain more income. The last question that I've been getting is, are there any other ways to lift their energy cap? The official team did release an event in January to double the energy cap for a week, but other than that, the only way to lift it is by acquiring more sneakers. The only way to replenish your energy will also just be waiting the 6 hours. In conclusion, what should be my strategy? Pick a sneaker. You have to start somewhere. If the rental and leasing function does come out, probably we'll have scenarios where you can just lease a sneaker, but as of now, you have to start with, let's say, a common sneaker. When you're looking at a common sneaker, try to look for their attribute sums higher than 20 and the efficiency plus resilience attribute sum higher than 10. Once you get your sneakers, start leveling up and repairing when you can. Priority should be repair first, because at lower levels your repair cost is lower. When you're leveling up, for every 12 points of attributes, that's 3 levels, try to at least put 2 in resilience and the rest of the attributes all into efficiency. When you get 3 pairs of sneakers, you definitely will then gain more energy, so if you could afford them, try to get 3 pairs. That will also open up the possibility of getting more gems. Last but not least, run every 24 hours before the next replenish. So things not to do is that do not try to use one phone and log on to multiple accounts, or use multiple phones to log on to one account. The project team did say that they might roll out updates to forbid that without giving you like a further notice. Alright, so big thanks to the community that provided us with a lot of data for us to be able to run our models and come up with our strategies. We might be able to share our models in the future, but in the meantime, if you want my notes, the Excels, the graphs that we use in the video, leave a like, a comment, subscribe to the channel, and give me your email. I'll try to get it to you as soon as possible. The project right now is doing exceptionally well. If you want to get in now. I definitely think it's worth your time. It also promotes your physical health. Getting up and running or walking every day is definitely something that I've been doing personally already. At the same time, there are a lot of horrendous things happening around the globe that we hope can end quicker. So stay safe, stay excited, peace out.